Do you ever go to take a shot of your watch and what appears on the screen looks nothing like the glamour shots you see on Instagram? Well, today I'm going to show you 3 simple ways to take that watch shot to the next level. Hey guys, I'm Max and this is Hot Ones. So watch collecting is a visual hobby, and I do believe that us watch collectors, we have a keen sense for aesthetics. Yes, that basically makes you an artist. So we naturally want to capture these beautiful little things, whether that's with your cell phone or a camera. So luckily, I got to spend a few days with the very photogenic Tudor 925. This is, of course, the 2021 release of a Black Bay 58 in a silver case. And the 925 refers to the 92.5% of silver used in the alloy sterling silver. The use of silver gives this watch a really nice warm glow, making it the perfect candidate for me to use to demonstrate the 3 concepts in this video about how to take better watch photos. So the first concept we'll talk about is shallow depth of field. And this is the idea that your subject is in focus, but whatever's in front of it and behind it is blurred out. A blurred out background is also known as bokeh. And why this looks good is that you take a 2-dimensional photograph and you create the illusion of 3 dimensions by creating what's called subject separation. This is also the quickest way that your eye can tell that a photograph looks more professional. Now, due to the thin profile of a phone, you can't really cram the optics needed to create a large aperture lens, and therefore you can't really get that nice bokeh effect. But what you can do is introduce some foreground. So I would suggest that you take an object, maybe some grass or some hair, and put that in frame but out of focus between your subject and the camera. It's nice if this object adds some context to the shot. And what this will do is immediately give the picture more depth and thus more visual interest. So that's foreground, but trying to blur out the background with your phone is a little harder, and this is where portrait mode tries to simulate that effect with software, but it's sometimes hit or miss. So let me teach you a trick to get a little bokeh in your watch shot. So open up your Instagram and upload a picture, and then go to Edit, and then slide over to the function called Tilt Shift. What this will do is choose the area of the photo that you want to keep in focus, and you can pinch to increase or decrease this area, and what the app will do is apply a blurring effect to the background. This is of course nowhere near the professional look of a high aperture lens, but you do get a little bit of blur. So you can combine these 2 tricks to create some foreground and background blurring in your next watch photo. So next, let's talk about the quality of light and the difference between harsh light and soft light. So harsh light would be like the midday sun. It's overhead, it's bright, and it casts hard shadows. Whereas a soft light would be like an overcast day or golden hour. And this is why photographers love to shoot then, because the sun is low on the horizon and the light is nice and diffuse. Now, why do we love soft light? Well, we have to briefly talk about this idea of dynamic range. Dynamic range is the ability to capture detail in the brightest and the darkest areas of a photo. Our eyes have great dynamic range, but cameras, especially cheap ones, have a narrower dynamic range, and therefore they struggle when the light is harsh. So how do you help your camera see better? Well, you have to reduce the difference between the brightest and the darkest areas of a photo. This is partly why I love to shoot on overcast days. But what do you do if you do have to shoot in harsh light? Well, this is where diffusion comes in. So this is a cheap diffuser I got on Amazon. It unfolds to a decent size, and if you hold it between your light source and your subject, it softens the light up. This reduces the brightness of the highlights and allows the camera to capture more detail. What's great is it can also function as a reflector to bounce light into a scene. You can also hold the thing over a watch to block the glare on a crystal. This thing folds up real small, and I always have it with me on shoots. I'll leave a link of it down in the description. Another reason why your watch shot might look boring is that it's the same wrist shots over and over again until our eyes glaze over. So maybe it's time to change the framing on your shot. So maybe do something different, like holding your watch or putting your watch on a surface or an object. What I like to do is get the camera low on a surface so that I get a little bit of foreground blurring. Also pay attention to what else is in the scene with the watch. Maybe put some objects in there to create some context. And texture. I love texture because it's so much more visually interesting. Try resting the watch on some leather, some fabric, some wood. So another idea is to try to get a perspective different than what normally the eyes see. And to really be able to display the fine craftsmanship of a watch, you're going to have to get close. And here we again run into the limitations of the optics of a phone. So on this channel, what I use is a Sony G Master 90mm macro lens. Now this is a $1,000 lens, and what do you do if you want to do some macro photography on your phone and you don't want to shell out that kind of money? Well, there's a few options for removable macro lenses you can get. And the most premium is probably a company called Moment. They make custom cases that fit your phone, and then you can put interchangeable lenses on top of that. I was messing around and bought these clip-on macro lenses from Amazon. They definitely don't give you a professional result, but it's a good start. So guys, to make your next watch photo stand out, remember to introduce some foreground and background blur, to soften up your light, and to choose interesting framing for your shot. You can use 1, 2, or all 3 of these principles in your next watch shot. And you know what? Send me that watch shot on Instagram and I can give you some feedback. Guys, make sure you drop a like for this video. Also, there are so many other topics that we didn't have time to cover today. Things like editing tricks, directionality of light, etc. So if you want to see potentially a part 2 to this video, make sure you're subscribed below. So thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.